For the latest episode of What Your Watch Says About You, oh man, do I have some conversation pieces lined up. Let's get this started. Number 1, the Rolex Oyster Perpetual with the Tiffany blue dial. What this watch says about you? Well, it doesn't really say much in my opinion. What it says is that you're wearing a teenager's Rolex and you think it's cool because it has a light blue dial. I mean, seriously, look, I get it. It's not an easy piece to get. And we know that you either paid over retail or you're so lucky that you got blessed by the gods to get a Tiffany blue dial Oyster Perpetual. But what it really says about you, it doesn't really say much. I don't really see this as a grail piece. Don't get me wrong, guys. For those of you at home that really, really want this piece and it is your grail piece, nothing wrong with that. We all got to start somewhere and we all got to set an obtainable goal. But when I see someone like LeBron James wearing this watch and thinking it's cool, what do I say? This guy's a freaking loser. Like, what the heck is going on with it? For that, I wouldn't even wear anything. Just slap on an Apple Watch. I mean, honestly, I just don't think that it looks cool to have on a Tiffany dial Oyster Perpetual when you have heavy pieces in your lineup. I don't get the joke. I don't think it's cool. I could understand a 36mm day-date with a Stella dial. I mean, it might not be the right size, but at least it's something cool and period correct, you know, vintage looking. But the OP Tiffany, not for me. Next up is the IWC Big Pilot. What this watch says about you is that you pretty much want to wear one of the biggest watches in the entire watch world lineup, and you like to wear the most uncomfortable crown ever invented on watches against the top of your hand. Have you ever worn one of these watches? I have. It's unbelievably uncomfortable. When that crown is just rubbing on your hand all day, come talk to me later. I have no idea why on earth they would come up with such a ridiculous crown for the watch. It shouldn't be called the Big Pilot. It should just be called the Big Crown. The IWC Big Crown, because that is almost bigger than the watch itself. So in 2021, the way that the trends are going with all the hype watches, what that watch says about you, it says you went full send and you wanted a big ass watch with a big ass crown. Now we have the Hublot Spirit of Big Bang. What this watch says about you? Well, it's pretty simple. First of all, it says you do not have good taste in watches. That's number 1. Number 2, it says right here on your forehead, I wish I had a Richard Mille. That's exactly what it says when I see it, guys. Honestly, I can't tell you the amount of people that have one and say, you know, I like it because it kind of looks like a Richard Mille. I remember when I first got my AP Safari and people used to come up to me and tell me, that's a nice Hublot. Could you imagine how the tables have turned? That now you wear a Spirit of Big Bang and people that don't know anything about the watch game accuse you of wearing a Richard Mille. That's what it says about you. Conclusion, I want people to think I'm wearing a Richard Mille. Next we have a man wearing a Cartier Ballon Bleu. What does it say about you? It says that you need to go back home, take that watch off now, and give it to your wife, your daughter, or your girlfriend. That's what it says. I don't think that any grown man should be walking around right now with a Ballon Bleu. Don't get me wrong, beautiful watch, amazing, especially on a woman's wrist. Not to be categorizing things, but I don't think that that is a correct watch for a guy to be wearing right now, even if you get the chrono, okay? Please, don't let me catch you out there wearing a Ballon Bleu if you are a grown-ass man. Oh, shit. Oh my God, he's got the two-tone Ballon Bleu, bro. Come on, man. What the, come on. It's a woman's watch, I swear. It is. Last but not least, we have the Patek Philippe 5711 Tiffany dial. I mean, look, guys. Being that the watch sold at auction for $6.5 million, I mean, is that crazy or what? I would have never even expected that. What this watch says about you if you're actually wearing it is 2 things. 1, I don't give a f about money. Or 2, I plan to use the United States tax write-off game as efficiently as possible. That's the only thing it says to me. Either A, you have so much fucking money that nobody can talk to you, period. Because if you're spending $6.5 million on a $50,000 retail watch. I mean, if it was a one of one, I could understand that. But there's gonna be 170 pieces, okay? That's a lot of pieces when you really consider that brands like Richard Mille have watches that there's only 5 in the world, 10, 15, or one of one. But there's 170 of them. And if you were the first guy to go out there and spend $6.5 million, again, you either have fuck you money, or 2, you plan to write this off because, let's face it, you gotta give the money to the government anyways. That's what I think. So regardless what I have to think about any of these watches, the most important thing that all these watches say about you is, well, at least you like watches and you wear watches. And that's the most important thing. Wear your fucking watches. Comment below what watches you think I should include in the next episode of What Your Watch Says About You. And if you like this video, like and share it with somebody else. Also, subscribe to my YouTube channel.